All right, fire back up. So the core premise is this is kind of where you land. This is your performance pit stop. This takes all of these different data sources that you use, DMS, CRM, inventory. There's marketing. That marketing kind of, most people keep their marketing on spreadsheets. This takes all of that data, plumbs it all into one kind of centralized view. This is meant to be, monitoring signals. We're looking at last month worth of data. So we took, kind of our demo account. We're looking at last month worth of data. These are our lead sources, marketing vendors, and these are our employees. You'll see triangles. So if you have not received, so let's say you have a paid marketing source, you haven't received a lead in a number of days, you will get an alert. So in the middle of this system sits communication, being kind of team chat and allowing everybody to communicate in real time. There's a lot of really cool stuff you could do with AI kind of sitting in the middle of some of these communications only when you want it to be. But essentially, this is, I kind of lost my train of thought. We have all of these different kind of screens, all this. I pause it out for a second. So I lost my flow.
Sure. Want to start over and say this is an intelligence system that sits on top of all the dealers' data sources to look at leads, cars, people,
Yep.
and brings it all
Scores
together.
everything.
Yeah,
Everything's scored.
I got you. All right. So here, perfect. So here is our core kind of as we log on. This is the platform. So this is that centralized kind of layer of intelligence. This is all of your connected systems, all under one, and this is meant to be for all of your variable operations. This is kind of the flow of the day. It's kind of how I kind of built this intentionally. So we have our team chat. This allows us to chat with all of our team members live. We can chat with groups. We could ask questions. We could tune AI in. So you could ask it, hey, what are the cars that are over 45 days that haven't had a lead in the last 21 days? You could tag at Max. Max Profit is our internal AI. You can tag at Max. Max's core job is going to be to go find he's going to read. He's going to read what's going on. His core job and core mission is to find the information that you need and deliver it to you in real time. From there, you can communicate, and he'll, as to Doug said earlier, he'll give you like the next steps. So we're constantly working down kind of how to solve whatever problem it is. We first log in up top, you're going to see employees, you're going to see a score. So everything is being rated and scored based on your goals. So this whole premise and process sits around where you want to be. We are Switzerland, right? I'm not wired to favor a vendor, favor this, favor that. We're more to say, hey, let's eliminate using Excel spreadsheets. And that's kind of why I built this, because I was very frustrated that systems didn't talk, and there had to be a way to layer intelligence together. There had to be a way for me to see everything I needed to see on one screen. We ingest all the data. We can go into unmatched records, show you where your DMS and your CRM differ. We will give you alerts. So we'll send off a triangle if the DMS and CRM doesn't match. A lot of people say, well, we have this data problem in automotive, and I don't really believe we have a data problem in automotive. I believe that we're not really paying attention. It's very hard to pay attention to data ingestion to see if our data sources match up, and it's really hard to do so when they don't connect. So all of kind of what I put in here are all the things that we would do while I was managing these stores, and all of the progressions and things that we would have to try to put together and connect. So essentially, we could show you, exactly where you're at for this month. If you said that's great, but how do we perform last quarter? We can show you the data all last quarter and what it looked like last quarter. You can say that's great, but what does it look like over the last year? So it's really, really quick. So I kind of demonstrate that to show like we're pulling all these data records, response times. All of this stuff is stored inside of the database, and we're able to pull these records really, really quick. You can see how your employee performed over the course of 1,288 leads. All these goals, again, are your goals. You set the goals. We're just here to present them to you in a manner so everybody kind of knows what their targets are. I think, I don't go on a rant, but I think salespeople kind of get a bad rap. Well, he doesn't know what he's doing or doesn't know how to do it, and we can't find good sales guys, and COVID killed sales guys. And I'm like, it starts kind of top down, right? And I think if you could really give people the direction that they need and really show them, hey, this is what we need from you. This is expectation, and this is how you're going to get there. I think we get there a lot faster when we
Yeah,
take that.
I don't recall
Yeah.
ever seeing a management meeting where the sales managers or even the GM was going to each sales agent and saying, "Hey, here's how you're doing year to date." It's all about
Yeah.
what's happening
No.
this month, and maybe you were doing things better in January, and now you're striking out in April. Let's go look back at January and see what changed.
Yeah, and
Hundred
I
percent.
It's
go ahead. Sorry.
No, I was just going to say the whole premise here is it's not a hey, you suck, you've only sold 10 cars this month. It's here's how you're performing from the time the lead comes in to the time the car is sold. It's that progression of the sale, that next step in the sale that data drivers can define. Meaning, look, I think we talked about it. If you're not answering the responding fast enough, how it's going to affect your sales. But nobody knows what that really looks like. Data drivers can tell you exactly what that looks like. If you pick up the pace by 2 minutes, we can show you how many more cars you're going to sell and how much more money you're going to make. Whether that's an individual teammate or whether that's a marketing lead, whether that's the marketing company that you're using. How many how many leads did this marketing bring you? How much for every dollar you spend on marketing, you got to be able to attribute that to a profit. And that's the hardest thing to do because I know we're switching gears a little bit, but not only do we score the teammates, but we score the marketing. Every dollar I spent in marketing, what did I get back?
Can you see that we're on the lead management page right now? So we'll kind of tune on this.
Can I ask you a question real quick, Ryan? Because I know you were doing this with your spreadsheets prior to building out Data Drivers. You were not doing absolute direct attribution. You were giving credit for partial attribution
Correct.
on different vendors. I mean, it wasn't that cars.com always sold that one customer. Like they might have looked at Auto Trader too. So
Yeah, I mean,
there's fairness there.
yeah, I mean, we're looking to be. I mean, right now we're really plumbed into IP attribution, so really looking at where did that lead come from? Where did that? Here, I'm going to switch to vendor performance since we're talking about it. But where did it come from? Again, what we know that there's all these different cookie traps, mouse traps, on all these websites. What caused the customer to click and then give them that real deal? Hey, if I spent $1, and we've had many of these conversations, Alex. But if I spend $1, what am I getting in return, and what does that look like, and how long should I expect that to happen, right? And I think there's a lot of different ways. There's a lot of things we can go into VDPs and all these different things. But I've always said, hey, if I give you $1, how long is it going to take to get this dollar back in return? What does that look like? How do we attribute it as fair as possible, right? Like again, I've said this before, we are Switzerland. We're not here to put anybody on blast. We're here to show you what this looks like via your CRM, via your single source of truth, and what that lens looks like shadow back to us. I think right now, I'm under a single employee. Let me go the whole dealership. I mean, we're looking at through the lens of being able to really tune in and look at profitability by zip and really understanding where our cars are actually selling. And then if you said, all right, that's great, but show me what it looked like for last year. I mean, literally it's pretty fast. And we could tune into exactly where you're selling these cars. And it
And we're
allows you,
selling profitable cars.
yeah, I mean, where your leads are coming from, where your sales are going, are actually happening, and then where you're actually making your money. So really tuning it in from a very and again, there's so many different ways we can go and we can look at this, but I'm a little simplistic in a sense of if I spend $1, how long is it going to take for me to get that dollar back in return? How many days? And how do I give very fair attribution on who created that? Really looking at the budget and saying, hey, from what I'm going to make this month, am I spending 8%, 10%, 12%? What does that look like? Before I go and spend another dollar, can I reallocate funds? So am I able to reallocate sources that maybe are potentially doing well, or am I able to have the conversation with that source So we're all playing and we're all on the same page. Again, every vendor I've always looked at it as partnerships, right? We're partners to again, if I win, you win, vice versa. And I've always kind of taken that stance, and I think that's why we got along pretty well, Alex. Was like we would look at the ROI, and we would really look at it from a lens of saying, okay, you didn't get that credit. Let's make sure that you get that credit, because I want to make sure that it's not. I feel like on this side now it becomes like us versus them in a sense of like this is bad or everything. Is this really going to help? And it's like, well, let's look at it, and let's look at it from a perspective, not me being a salesman because I've never really been on this side, but me being a operator saying, would I put this in my operation and would this help me? And that's kind of the stance that we're looking at. And Doug, you could jump in on like the investment.
Yeah,
Kind of,
and to take it the one thing further, Alex, is it that source? Is it that lead source, or is it me? Is it a me thing or a them thing? Like, are they bringing me the leads? Am I not getting the leads fast? Everything is connected in the dealership, especially on the whole dealership's connected, but especially in variable ops, everything is connected. So you can say, oh, that lead source sucks. Well, if you're not getting if you're not responding fast enough, if you're not setting enough appointments, well, that's a me thing. That's my fault for not acting on those leads. And that's where it just gets so muddy and people start throwing the blame gets thrown around. Now, everything in your variable ops, your people, your marketing, your vehicles, everything is scored, and you can drill down to that one thing that they need to make an improvement on. Again, whether that's the people, whether that's the vehicles, and you can see what that thing is that needs to be done and needs to be changed. If it's a person, you can tell that person what they're doing today, what it's getting them, and if they change this one thing, where that will take them. And you can it does the math for them right in front of them. If you just take these two things, if you go a little bit faster to the response and you set one more appointment, here's how many more cars you'll sell. He's doing it right now. It's in real time. How many more cars you're going to sell and how much more money you're going to make. And that's the part that we miss. This business has always been back a million years ago, Carson Toyota, salesman. You walk in first thing in the morning, 7:30 a.m. with your coffee, trying to shake off the night before because you were there till 1 a.m. closing, trying to get a deal done. And you walk in and the GM walks in and wipes off the two bottom guys off the board because we used to use those little magnetic letters on the board, right? Those two guys didn't work here anymore. Did they get a fair chance? Did they get any help? Like, that's the whole change, I think, in our industry today. Now, Data Driverz can help each individual, and it can help decide where to spend money. It can help you decide what vehicles you're going to need. It's absolutely all connected. Ryan says all the time, I used to go out and I buy a bunch of cars. I could steal a whole bunch of cars. Well, that's great, but if those cars don't bring any leads, what good is stealing those cars? So it starts with a buy in the used car department, takes it all the way to the CRM tool and all the way to F&I. It's all connected. We've connected everything. We've scored everything. And the key to this is we give you the why behind it. It's, why do you have to do this? If you do it, what's going to happen? And Ryan, if you want to talk about inventory, because I know we're running out of time. Inventory is just the slickest thing.
Yeah, we will have to ask dealers who are interested in this to come take a demo and check all these different things out. We don't have time for running through every bit of the product, although I'd love to at some point. But
we don't have the 5 hours it would take to do that right now.
Well, what I'm getting from this, and I hope that somebody takes this away too, is that if you are wanting a simple way to manage your store, manage your people, manage your inventory, and just like staying with the basics, which is really the hardest thing to be consistent on, this is a great way to do it.
Yeah, I think
Brian always says control the controllables, and that's exactly what this is.
Yeah, we're not making anything up, right? Dealers have all this data, right? They have the data today. What we're doing is we're making it a lot easier to see what you need to do that actually moves the needle. So, do I have quality photos? We take AI, we score every alpha shot, we remove that friction point, right? We'll rate it, and then if it needs, living in the middle of this is a trigger system. So, meaning if it's a person and it's on a close rate on an appointment set and it's away from a threshold that you set, they'll get an alert, you'll get an alert, and you'll be able to talk to them on it. If the car doesn't have a good quality photo It gets scored. It's going to go to, this is role based. So it's going to go to whoever was responsible for that photo and their manager. Hey, we need to reshoot this photo. And it gives you the reasons of why you need to reshoot the photo. So not only does it score it, but it tells you what the score is based on a perfect photo set that we've trained it in the back. The hardest part is just breaking through because there's so much noise in automotive and everybody's like raising their hands of what they could do and what AI is going to do and what is this. And I never built this with the intent to layer AI in the middle. We built this using applied analytics and just trying to figure out, what are the things, how to connect the data points so we could see a little clearer. We kind of timing of this worked out really well in our favor. And now we're able to bring Max Profit into play. And Max Profit is the all-knowing of your data. And again, he is there 24/7. He doesn't call in sick. He's there to be your co-pilot on this journey of hopping in, as we say, we call it Data Driverz. We want to put you in the cockpit of your data.